Hello everybody, welcome back to RenderBots. My name is James and today we're going to be making something called RenderBots Nutz cereal. So what's that look like? Let's take a look. So there you go, we've got the cornflake packet there if you like. It's tipping up and releasing those little nuts there. There's a shiny bowl as well. Okay, it's all tipping out aside of there. Let's take a look at that again. So there we go. The bowl, it comes up and it fills the bowl up, so some dynamics going on there. Okay, looks pretty good, right? So we're going to put the tutorial, we're going to make those three elements. So we're going to make the nut, we're going to make the bowl, and then obviously the cornflake packet, and then we're going to use something called a emitter. And the emitter is the one that actually drops all those little nuts out of the thing and then hits the bowl, and it all looks pretty groovy. So let's go ahead and start to make each of those items individually, then we'll bring them all together for the rest of the project. Okay, let's crack on. Okay, here we are inside of Cinema, and what we're going to do is start off by making the nut. Now the way we're going to do that is very simply, we're going to go over to our little splines here, and we're going to pick up a circle and then pick up a end side. See that inside? Boosh. Okay. The first thing I'm going to do is the circle is going to be sitting inside of the little end side there. So click on the circle over here. Go to this little icon here, which is known as the scale tool. And all we've got to do is kind of grab any one of these and bring it down to somewhere like that. Okay. So the nut is kind of got a circle with the N around the outside. Okay. Nice and easy. Good. And now we're going to go over to here. It's called our array. Okay, and in the array we see we've got the spline mask, so let's give that a click. Okay, so what we can see over here now is we've got a spline mask with the end side and the circle. So we're going to take the end side, drop it inside the spline mask like that. Boosh. Take the circle and drop it inside there like that. Boosh. Okay. Uh-oh, what's happened over here? Don't worry about that, because some great things are about to happen. So what I've got to do now is take, look at this little button here. See, it says spline mask. Okay, so what I've got to do is make sure it says A union with B, which is correct. And then down here we've got X axis here. And this should say Z along with Y. There we go. So Z along with Y. Cool. Okay. Now, something weird's happening on here. Don't worry too much. Let's have a little. Let's click on the circle. Press this button. We can move this backwards and forwards. As you can see, if I pull that backwards and forwards, don't worry too much about that. Okay. Right. So what I need to do now is extrude this shape. So we've made this little nut thing here. So to make it extrude, and I go over to the button here. Click on extrude. Okay. You know. So over here we can now see it says extrude with the spline mask, and all I've got to do is pick up this spline mask and drop it inside from here. Just inside there like that. Boom, there we go. Pretty cool, huh? Use my little mask there. So what we can do is have a bit more fun alongside here. So let's just check that spline mask again. So the spline mask done. Come down here, check the mode is A union B. The axis says Z to Y or Z to Y if you're in England. And that's what you need to make sure that's correct. And that's will give you that perfect shape. Let's go back to extrude. And we see here we can go and look to object and just change the amount it's extruded by. So that's quite cool, right? Make it quite deep. If we go to caps will, if we zoom in here, look for a second, we can see that it's quite angular inside of here. Normally most things aren't angular. So what we do is start cap, just make that a fillet cap. See, it gives that really nice basil, and also inside of here, lots of detail inside of there as well. If I turn it around the other way, still it's very angular around that side, so let's go down to the word end on the cap and change it to fillet cap too. Boosh, there we go. Looking pretty good. So there's our first nut. Okay, so hopefully that was simple enough. Again, we can texture this with some sort of chrome or something later on, but that's the nut part done. So before we go anywhere else, let's click on the extrude here, and that's going to let me call that a nut like that. Cool. So there's my nuts. So that's that part done. Okay, next up what we're going to do is we're going to hide our nuts. So we can click on these two little red dots here, and that'll actually just make the whole thing disappear for us. Okay, so we can't sort of muddle with it. And now what we're going to do is we're going to make the cornflake box. Okay, so the cereal box that we're going to use. So to do this, we're going to take a simple cube. So hold that button down, go to the cube. Okay, and it's give us a simple cube box shape there. If I come over to my object plane down here, we see we've got the size here is 200. So we're going to set this to 70. Okay, and we're going to change that to 268. So that's 268. And then this is 200, so we're going to leave that as it is. So that is my box shape that I want to start off with. Now, obviously we want to put our design on here. So how we're going to put the design on our box? Very simply, come down to our material editor down here, give it a double click. Brings up a grey orb, double click that, comes up the word colour, we follow that through to the word texture, follow all the way through to the end there, 3 dots, give it a click, we see the colours rendered there. If I give it a click, that's one I created in Photoshop earlier. We're just going to press open. Do you want to copy that to this path? We're going to say no, and there you go. I'll take off the specular, we don't really need that for now. And that's it, we've got a picture in there ready to go. So I'm going to click on there. And very simply, all I've got to do now is basically this texture is ready to go. So what I need to do is actually turn this by pressing this button here. See this make editable button here? If I give it a click now, what that means is if I go to this tool here now, give this a click. Okay, I can now actually select the polygons. Okay, see that? Pretty cool, right? So we went to that one button first, that's made it editable. We then clicked on this one here, and it's let me now edit it. So what I can do is highlight this button here like that, give it a click. See, it's highlighted that, and if I move this around, you can see I've only highlighted the side that we're going to see. This means when I grab hold of the Kellogg's icon there, click and drag, it drops beautifully onto the side of there. Yeah, pretty good, isn't it? Okay, so that's that done. So if I give that quick render, you can see that we've got this area here and this area here. So what I need to do is kind of get the blue and actually make the whole box the same color. So we want that kind of blue to go through everything else. So to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click back down in the material editor here, give a double click, there's my grey orb, double click that. Okay, and you see it's got the word color here, and it's got color. If I give it a click, I can now kind of sample this. So I'll give this a click here, and this sample button appears here. If I give that a click, it now lets me highlight part of the blue box. That's clever, right? Bet you didn't know that. And I can press OK now. And as you see, it's given me that color. Take off the specular again. Press the button like that. And now all I've got to do is grab that and drop it onto the blue box like that. So see, it's just got rid of everything. It's all turned it all blue. Don't worry about that. We're going to click on that bit again, just what we did to start off with. Grab hold of our texture, click it, drag and drop, and there you go. So we'll look at the rendering now. You see that it's all blue. All right, pretty good. And again, we don't need to do the back because we won't see that during this. Okay, so there's kind of the box bit done. Now, what we're going to do is got to be a bit clever here, because what we're going to do is we need to make an opening in this bit here. Okay, so remember we've got this bit highlighted here, which enables me to select all these areas. So I'm going to click on that button there. Okay, so it's highlighted. And very simply, we're going to press the M key. Okay, so the M key. And we're going to use the button called W. Can you see this? It says extrude inner. There it is. So if I press W now, okay, it gives me this little icon, as you can see. Now all I've got to do is click and hold and drag. And see as I drag inwards, it kind of creates that little lip on the box. And that's what I'm going for. So I'm clicking and holding. You can see I can go really close, or make it open, really open. Then the minute I let go, that's when it's going to make that sort of opening. So let's take it to about there. Let's give it a nice little sort of 3D look to the whole thing. Let go. Now all I've got to do is just release my finger off my mouse. So all I've got to do now is just press the delete key. Cool, all right? So now I'm going to take a look inside my box. Boosh, there we go. Again, don't worry about that. We can see inside there and have a look. So there is our cornflake box done. Pretty good, right? Okay, so we've got a nut done and we've got a cornflake box done. Now all we're going to do is go over the word cube, which is what it's called over here. Give that a double click and name that cereal box. Okay, so there's our nut cereal box. And again, we're going to hide that as well. So hit the red icon there and there like that. Okay, next up is we need to create our bowl. Now, if you followed our bowling tutorial recently, you may get an idea of where I'm going to go with this one. So the first thing I need to do is close down this window by clicking that button there. Okay, it gives me the 4 views. So what I'm looking for is the front view. See the front view here? Okay, let's give that a click and make that bigger. There, we've got a front view. So this is kind of represents the middle of the screen and it goes off here. So I'm actually going to go into my my freehand draw spline there, and I'm going to use this thing called the B spline. Yeah, we're going to use the B spline. Okay, so we're going to give that a click. And this is going to allow me to draw a kind of a shape for a bowl. Okay, so I'm going to start somewhere down here. And all I'm going to do is going to move closer by using these keys, so I can move quite close. And give it a click there. Okay, give it a click here. So there's 1, 2, 3 points like that. Let's zoom out a little bit. And let's start to get the arc of this bowl maybe to here. See, it's going to come up and there we go. Let's give it a click maybe there. Again, everybody's bowl will look slightly different. Don't worry about it too much. Okay, cool. There's kind of my arc and it going up. Looks pretty good. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So what I'm going to do is now bring this slightly closer into here. So let's go there. Okay, and then start to come down. And again, as I come down, give it a click. To there, to there, to there. Perfect. Now to there, and we'll just come to the end like that. Okay, cool. So there is my kind of start to that. And again, rewind the video if you want to watch that a little bit closer, but that should get me somewhere where I need to be. Got a nice flat bottom there and it starts to arc up. So all I've got to do now is close this window like that. As you can see, it'll now take me to my 4 views. Click on here. Zoom out slightly. Okay. And I'm going to take the spline, which is what I've just created there with all that. And I'm going to go to this here and I'm going to hit the lathe button. See that? Okay, so there's my lathe. Let's go to my little selection tool there. Let's go to lathe and we're going to drop the spline inside the lathe like that. Whoa! Okay, that's as simple as it was. See that? Just give us that bowl inside there. Perfect. No problem at all. There's my bowl. Simple as that. It's pretty good, right? Nice and easy. So there's my lathe. Now, obviously, what I can do here is subdivide this and make this a lot more thinner. So to do that, I can just hit this button here. See, it says subdivide surface. Okay, there's my subdivide surface button here, and I can then grab hold of my lathe and drop it inside of that. Right, and straight away you saw that. Give it some beautiful round edges. Went for that very angular look, and it gave me a nice solid sort of bowl there. Okay, cool. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create a texture and just paint that sort of red. So to do that, let's go to here and let's come down to our material editor, give it a double click. Okay, creates a new texture. There's our grey orb again. Double click that, go to the word colour. We can move these sliders up and sort of change what colour we want that to be. Yeah, that's it. That's something kind of reddish. Speculators on, that's all good. That's fine. Just something for it to be something different there. Grab the red, drag it onto the bowl. Boosh, there we go. Give it a little render. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Okay, so there's our bowl. So we've got a subdivide inside there. The lathe was dropped inside of that. The spline was inside of the lathe. So that yours should look something like that up there. Okay, so let's click on this little arrow here. And what we do now is double click this and name that bowl. Cool, so we should have those 3 elements. Got a bowl, a cereal box, and our nut. I guess what we need to do is kind of have a table here for it all to work with. So let's create a quick, let's click on here. Let's go for a little disc. You see a disc is inside of there. Okay, let's just hide the bowl for a second. There we go. The disc, let's just open it up. Okay, doesn't really matter much what's going on inside there. And what I'm going to do is just give this another texture as well. So let's double click inside here. Double click that. Color. Let's just give it a really sort of brownish color. Doesn't really matter. Okay, cool. Just a brown color. So we can drag and drop that onto that as well. Okay, let's get the bowl back up on here. Let's drag this bit down. We need to make sure this is kind of sitting on side this. So one thing we can do to line all this up, let's just rename that tabletop. There we go. Just so we know where everything is we're going to take this and just go to this view here. And if you look on the front view, what we can do here is you can see it shows me the tabletop and it shows me the bowl. If we look really carefully, we can kind of see that the tabletop is just not quite sitting with that on there. So let's give it a little, make sure it's pretty close. Okay, good. Let's close that view down. Let's close that view down. Let's have a look from the top. Yep, pretty good. Pretty good. Happy with that. Okay, so let's grab the bowl and we're going to move the bowl to the left like that. Great. Let's uncover now our cereal box. So click on that. Click on that. Now we can see that everything is a little bit either too small or too big. So what I want to do is I want to reference kind of the cereal box on this. So I'm going to make everything the same size as the cereal box. So to do that, we need to scale our bowl down. So let's go to our bowl. Let's go to our little scale tool here. Click and hold and drag this down. Okay. Let's move the arrows and move that down to here where it needs to go, because we kind of need it sitting alongside our little thing here. Okay, so scaling everything to the size of this. Okay, let's go to our table. Again, with the tabletop done, go to our scale tool, click and hold, and this will make it a certain size for us. Yeah. Yeah, pretty good. Okay, we need to obviously maneuver that into the right place, but looking pretty good. Let's jump this up. Yeah, looking good. Okay. So let's take our cereal bowl. Let's move it over like that. Cereal bowl and our packet like that. There we go. Cool. Yeah. Again, just a few modifications there, but we want to scale it to our cornflake packet really. Okay, so let's give that a render. So that's our render done. And again, we're just going to make sure all this now lines up perfectly. So again, we're going to go to this view here. Let's go to our right view. That looks like it's looking pretty good. We see our cornflake packet on there. It's looking pretty good. And we just got to lift this, so it's going to sit pretty good on there. Like that, yeah. That's all looking pretty good. Okay. Press that view. Let's go back to this view here. Okay, so next up we're going to look at creating the particle emitter for all the nuts to sort of come out of this renderbots cereal box here. So to do that, we're going to create our particle emitter first. Okay, so the particle emitter comes from this simulate and the words particles and then the word emitter. Boosh. Okay, so you can see straight away it brings up this little kind of white box. And the first thing we're going to do is go to the emitter here, because I've sized this right from the get-go. So with the word emitter highlighted there, we go X. The X is going to be 41. Okay, and the Y is going to be 106. And the idea is what this is going to do is going to sit inside of my cornflake packet here, my cereal box, and it's going to sort of sit there and make lots of nuts fall out of it. I promise you this will make sense in a second. So to do this, we're going to take our nut and drop it inside of the emitter like that. Okay, so nothing's happening just yet, but if I press play, we can see some little lines coming out. Also at this point we can see down in our animation window we've only got 90 frames. So let's click on the 90. Let's make that, I don't know, let's make that 800. Okay, press enter. Okay, it gives us 800 frames. Now if I come to here, I just stretch that out, click and drag that out. Okay, hit rewind, press play, and you see we've got loads of frames for us to work with now. So I'm just going to press pause there, hit rewind. So there's my animation set out there. Go back up to Emitter, and we see that with the Emitter we've changed the file size of it here. But if I go to the word particle, it will say here show objects. Okay, we want that to happen. So when I press play now, oh, let's switch these on. So we're going to go to the emitter here, okay, and we're going to go to the word show objects and give that one click, and it should say the word show objects, okay. So when I press play now, big nuts up here. So obviously we've got some scaling to do with the nuts, but what's actually happening, let's zoom out a little bit, and we can see that the emitter is actually creating lots of those nuts in one jaggedy line. Okay, but it's far too big, and again we see it's going to stop emitting them after a certain time. So the first thing we do is got to scale that nut down. So to do that, let's go to the word nut, let's go to our scale tool and click and drag and make it tiny. Okay, make it tiny, 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 tiny. Cool, let's hit rewind, go back in there, and we see there's our nuts inside there. They're all coming out. Yeah, it looks pretty good, right? Of course it does. Right, so there it is. It's coming out of there. So we went to the nut tool and we just went to the scale. We scaled that down, and they are just falling from there. So that's pretty cool. We've kind of got that into a place that we need it to be in. So yeah, it's pretty good, isn't it? Okay, so I press that all day and it's gonna be great. So what I need to do is put this emitter inside of the box, and to do this, what we're going to do is let's go to this icon here. Let's click and drag. Oh, let's go. Sorry, excuse me. What we're going to do is make sure the emitter's highlighted. Okay, the emitter's highlighted. We're going to click and hold and drag that inside of the box. Okay, so we see that inside of there now. Yeah, pretty good. Okay, let's drag it to there. Okay, so the emitter is now inside the box. And of course, if I press play now, hey, they're all coming through the box. Now the reason for that is because we need to switch on something called dynamics. Again, we've had a look at this before as well. In fact, they're quite big, aren't they? We need to scale those down a little bit. So let's hit rewind. Let's just press play. Yeah, we need to scale those down. They're very, very big. So let's go to the emitter again. Click on the nut. Go to scale tool and just scale those down. Make them a lot smaller. There you go. Much better. So we scaled those down. And what we need to do is now create some dynamics for all of this stuff, because obviously that's just coming through the box here, and we need these to obviously then be picked up and drop into here. So what we're going to do is start applying some simulation tags to all this, and we're going to look at that next. Okay, so we're back to the dynamics part. So let's start adding some dynamic tags to all of this. The first thing we want to do is go to the emitter, go to the nut here, and then go to the tags icon and all the way down to the word simulation tags. So the nut is going to have this one here. It's got the white rigid body here. Okay, so we're going to give it a click. Okay, that's going to give it some simulation. Okay, and next thing we're going to do is go to, so there's the nut, got the bowl. Let's go to the lathe. And inside the lathe again, we'll go to the word tag, simulation tags, and then look at the blue one here, the collider body. Okay, so it's going to go to the collider body on that one. Okay, and what we got next is serial box, because obviously you want to be able to, that's going to interact with everything as well. So again, with serial box, we're going to go to the tags, simulation tags from there. And then we're going to go for the blue one again, the collider body. Okay, so let's press play and see what's going to happen. Let's hit rewind. Let's press play. Oh, nuts are going crazy. And there's a reason for this, because actually at the moment we haven't told the box to be something called a static mesh. So this is really important. What we're going to do is, with the box highlighted, see it's got the word cereal box, we're going to come all the way down here to the word shape. Okay, so cereal box is highlighted here. We've got the word shape, it's set to automatic, so I'm going to make that not shape, I'm going to make it a static mesh. Okay, really important. Now when I press play, can you see that? Straight away my box is starting to fill up with little nuts. Pretty good, right? So that's pretty good. Now we've also got to do that static mesh with the bowl as well. So let's pause that. Let's hit rewind. Let's come over to our bowl here. Give the bowl a click. Because basically what it's doing is it's seeing the shape that still has kind of like an invisible top on it. So with the bowl, with the lathe bit of the bowl there, we're going to follow that along. Come all the way to the bottom here. Down there. And in the word shape set to automatic, we're also going to make that a static mesh. And basically it means it will find the edge of the bowl, you see. So when we tip this up and you go in here, it's going to be pretty good. So that's really important. So we've added our simulation tags inside there, and then we've made both these items a static mesh. So let's have a look and let's just play this and see what's going on with our static mesh. So they're all dropping and collecting now inside of our box, which is pretty good at doing it at some pace. Okay, so what we need to do is maybe animate this now, so the box is going to sort of rise up at the table, just like in our demo, and drop inside of our ball. So let's start that whole animation process and see if we can't get that to look somewhere right. So pause the animation, press rewind, and now we're going to sort of pick this box up with the emitter in. Now before we go ahead and do that, we want to put the emitter inside of the stereo box. And again, that's really simple. Let's just grab the emitter, drop it over the word serial box so it becomes part of it. So when I click on the serial box now, it contains the emitter. Okay, really important. So hit that plus button, there's the emitter, there's the nuts inside of it. So everything is now contained inside of that. And what we're going to do is we're going to keyframe this to lift up and then tip over into our bowl. So we hit our keyframe, the bowl is where it's supposed to, the box is where it's supposed to be. We move our playhead forward to maybe 56 frames. Again, we can change this later. Click a keyframe, okay, and we're going to lift that up, okay, like maybe to there. Okay, so there's our keyframe inside there. Give it a click. So if I come down, come up, okay. Magic. Now what's going to happen is when it gets to there, we're going to put some keyframes again forward like so, and we'll go to the rotation tool and then tip this up. So we'll give this a click so it tips up like that. There we go. And again, we're going to hit a little keyframe button there like so. So now it's going to sort of come up and tip up and spin. Okay, so let's hit rewind. Let's press play and hopefully that should all come together. Boom, 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 boom. Here come the nuts. Floating through the table, not really doing much, but as you can see, some of the catching our little bowl there. So this is nearly done. So all we've got to do is just realign that bowl, right? So let's press pause. Let's hit rewind. Let's grab our little bowl. Now go to our movement tool over here. Click and let's drag so it comes up really a bit more closer, somewhere about there. Okay, let's press play. Tipping the bowl. Okay, Magico. See, they're all kind of going in there as well. Some of them are falling out, right? But it's pretty much there. Let's press pause. Let's press rewind. So actually, when it gets up to here, okay, so we're going to bring it to here. So let's click on our serial box. Let's come up to here. And as it kind of tips, we'll just push the whole thing forward a little bit. Now, don't worry about the animation stuff over there. That's fine. It's just doing its own thing. Once it gets to here, let's just roll this box slightly forward. So let's get to about there. Let's hit a little keyframe and just bring the box forward slightly. So it kind of comes in there. And let's give another little keyframe click like that. Let's hit rewind. press play. Now hopefully it'll come forward slightly. Is it going to come forward slightly, or is it just drop back a little bit? Okay, it's dropped back a little bit. So let's get back to here. So what we'll do is come into here. Let's press keyframe there and bring that forward like that to there. Perfect. I think that's going to work pretty good. Let's hit rewind, press play. So it's going to come up, lunge forward slightly, give it a bit of a, that's perfect, look at that. Now hopefully they'll all stop tipping out. Yes, there they go. Okay, animation's fun. Have a play with that. But actually you see, look, if I rotate around this, we see all those lovely little renderbot nuts coming into the bowl. Now as you see, there's not many coming out, right? So we can speed all this whole thing up, but I think what we should do is let's dive in nice and quick to this. Let's create some nice little colors inside of here. Let's press rewind. Pause there. I'm going to double click inside here, double click inside there, and we want to go to, let's have a little look, reflection, lots of reflection. We're going to make this color really dark gray. Doesn't really matter at that point. And we can drag these onto the nuts like that. Oops. And we can drag these onto our little nuts over here. So let's go to a cereal bowl, and there's our nuts there. See our nut? We can grab that chrome and just drop it onto there. Okay, so what's going to happen is now they'll actually be nice and shiny. Okay, they're really, really shiny nuts. So the bowl's going to come up, tip up like so. They'll hit my little lip inside there, that's fine. As you see, it's starting to cascade into there like so. So what we can do is we can now speed up that emitter. So it's bringing out more nuts, if you like. And the way we're going to do that is go to our emitter tab. And I would always say, yeah, have a play with this. You know, I love showing you guys these little things here. But go with the emitter. We see here the birth rate editor is 10. Okay, it starts emitting straight away, so it's 0 frames. It's going to start to push out all of those nuts. Now actually it probably doesn't need to do that until maybe we get to this point, maybe 42. So if I said you know, start emitting at frame 42, okay, so it says stop emitting at 150. Well, you see we've got 800 frames here, so I could say, you know what, actually stop emitting at 800 frames. Okay, so let's do that. Birth rate editor, birth rate renderer. So what we do is we can start actually making more come out at times. So let's have a look inside here and see what's going on. See, they're all coming in and they're tipping out. Okay, there's quite a few coming out there. What we do is press pause. Let's hit rewind. Let's make that sort of 50. Hit rewind. Okay, 50, and you see my computer struggling a little bit here, but as we see, 50 is now coming out. And again, remember, this will all be sped up later on. Yeah, looking pretty good, and it's going to interact with all my bowl like so. Whoa, okay. So folks, that's what happens when you start to stress your system out. But you can see that that's everything we're looking for. So just to kind of tidy this whole tutorial up, obviously I'd like just to grab a light. Okay, lift the light up above it. Let's make the light a spotlight. Okay, let's come down here and let's rotate this down like that. Apologies if you can hear my doggly wogglies. They're all downstairs, and I love them dearly. Okay, so we've got a light over here, and that's going to be shining on my bowl. We can move that into anyway one side of there. As always with the light, it's always nice to have a little bit of shadows inside there, so I use the soft body ones like that. Okay, if I press render, nice, got a nice tabletop thing on there. But we need to obviously light up our bowl and things, so let's click on another light. Let's drag that over here, and let's make it again maybe just soft light. Press render, and we see we've got some nice kind of cool things going on side there. So get to there, click, there you go. And as it comes up, okay, tips up. Cool. And what we'll do is we'll just render a few of these as it comes up inside here. Give the box a little shake. Quite nice. Let's pause it maybe there. Let's give it a render. Cool. Okay. So again, adding a few lights makes all the difference to your thing. It's a bit crude, I know, and we probably do with another light, maybe maybe over here, maybe slightly above it. Let's put the shadow on there. Yeah, so yeah, probably a bit more lighting to be done, but you've got the idea that, you know, we're using dynamics, we've got some Nutz in there, we looked at static mesh. There's quite a lot going on inside of there. Okay, so guys, I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. Let's just minimize that down a second. As always, thank you very much for watching. Once again, we're doing great on subscribers. You can follow me on Twitter. My handle's down there. It's at render_bots. Obviously, my webpage is renderbots, but I would love to see you guys here on YouTube subscribing. It means you love me lots, and I love you lots in equal amounts. Thanks very much. I hope that was fun. Please obviously send me any requests as well. I'd love to hear from you, any ideas you've got. Getting some great fan mail at the moment, and I love reading it, so thank you very much indeed. So subscribe, like if you do like the video, and I'll see you next time. Happy rendering, guys. Take care.